This show is funded in part by the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization Re-Grant Program with support from the New York State Legislature and Governor Andrew Cuomo and administered by the Cattaraugus County Arts Council. This show is also supported by Axiom Printing and Teresa Quinn, Esquire. Rolling Hills Radio is underwritten by the Jamestown Gazette, a hometown paper providing residents and businesses with positive stories and timely information.
Welcome to Rolling Hills Radio with Ken Hardley. Join us for an hour in music with conversation from Shawbucks in Jamestown, New York. Tonight's guests are Robin and Linda Williams. Now please welcome our host, Ken Hardley.
Way downtown, fooling around, they took me to the jail. And it's all me and it's all mine, ain't no one to call my bill. I was sitting on over at my sweet Sally's house, sitting on a big armchair, with one arm around my old guitar and the other one around my dear. Way downtown, fooling around, they took me to the jail. Well, it's all me and it's all mine, ain't no one to call my bill. It was late last night when we came home, and I heard him rapping on the door. Slipping and sliding with his new shoes on, but I said, well, don't you rap no more. Way downtown, fooling around, they took me to the jail. Well, it's all me and it's all mine, ain't no one to call my bill. Well, about all I got is a shirt on my back, and $1 is all that I crave. I brought nothing into this old gray world, and I ain't taking nothing to my grave. Way downtown, fooling around, they took me to the jail. Well, it's all me and it's all mine, ain't no one to call my bill. Downtown, fooling around, they took me to the jail. All me and it's all mine, ain't no one to call my bill.
This program is made possible by listeners like you. For information on how you can be part of the live radio audience or support live radio, log on to rollinghillsradio.org. This program is supported by the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce, providing support for economic, workforce, and tourism development in Chautauqua County. Also, the Cherry Lounge. The Cherry Lounge is a full-service bar and restaurant located in the heart of downtown Jamestown at 326 Cherry Street.
Thank you, Julius Isla-Hanley, and welcome to Rolling Hills Radio, brought to you from Shawbucks, the club concert venue nestled in the entertainment district of the city on the shores of beautiful Chautauqua Lake, Jamestown, New York. On Rolling Hills Radio, you will hear a grassroots Americana music from a wide range of genres. This episode, we are privileged and honored to feature Americana royalty. They met in the early 70s and started making music together. Since then, They have gotten married. They made over 20 albums. They were semi-regulars on a Prairie Home Companion and toured all over this great country many times over. Adjectives that have been used to describe them are earthy, literate, plaintive, fun, lively, poignant, wistful, wry, yearning, nostalgic, gentle, bittersweet. You are about to listen to the beat of America's heart.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Robin and Linda Williams to the Rolling Hills radio stage.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll kick it off with the Dixie Highway Sign. You ready?
A road song goes back to those days, the 7 days.
Oh, well, the white lines are rolling, and Illinois is tolling. I'm logging in some miles. Oh, well, the cobra's squawking, and the garment's talking at me every little while. Heading down and around the old Chi-town, Wisconsin's just behind. Hauling the load to Ohio, and I ain't wasting time. Oh, but I'm surprised to find that Dixie Highway sign. Dixie's such a long way down the line. Long ago, but not forgotten, stripping my way down rows of cotton, memories that glisten and shine. When my eyes fell on that Dixie Highway sign. Oh, well, the potholes are bumping and the black tar's thumping underneath my tires. The traffic's weaving and the brakes are squealing and the cement's hot as fire. I see a blue light beaming, hear a siren screaming. Some poor fool's hit hard times. I'm here to say I wouldn't trade his troubles for all of mine. Oh, but I'm surprised to find that Dixie Highway sign. 'Cause Dixie's such a long way down the line. Long ago, but not forgotten, stripping my way down rows of cotton, memories that glisten and shine. When my eyes fell on that Dixie Highway sign. I just slammed the door on 294. I'm eastbound now on 80. Checking my mirrors, get off of my rear. Tailgaters drive me crazy. Oh, well, the road work ends up around the bend, and the lanes are open wide. A late sun glowing and a tailwind blowing. Lord, I'm bound to ride. Oh, but I'm surprised to find that Dixie Highway sign. 'Cause Dixie's such a long way down the line. Long ago, but not forgotten, stripping my way down rows of cotton, memories that glisten and shine. When my eyes fell on that Dixie Highway sign. But not forgotten, stripping my way down rows of cotton, memories that glisten and shine. When my eyes fell on that Dixie Highway sign. One more.
Robin and Linda Williams.
All right. Thank you.
Down in Dixie. Well, you know, you two have been at this for a while.
Yes, we have.
You met in South Carolina, if I have that right. Linda, you're from Alabama. You're from North and South Carolina.
The Carolinas, yeah.
Yeah, and then you went to Nashville, and you first recorded in Minneapolis. You live in the Shenandoah Valley. You know the United States.
We do. We've played every state except Hawaii. We never went to Hawaii.
We never yet.
Yet. Well, I'm not.
It's going to take a
too
lot of
long
money to
of a
get us
plane
to
ride for
Hawaii
you.
and I. Linda doesn't.
But yes, that's what we've done our whole lives, is run up and down the road and play songs. And
If nothing else, I had the wisdom to realize that Linda was the one. I better grab hold of this opportunity and, forget any other thing that I was thinking about, because when love rears its ugly head, and you can, and then not only that, but you can sing and play music with each other. This is not going to happen more than once.
Why take a chance?
45 years later, 38 people back here, but 45 years later, here we are.
45 years.
Never a harsh word, never a cross look.
that's right.
How
That's right.
about that?
Marital bliss. 45 years of marital bliss.
Well, marital bliss. How about another song?
All right, we'll do you a song. This is a song we wrote for. It's about losing an animal. We're dog people. We're childless couples, and so we have had a succession of dogs. And there was one. You're going to lose them the minute you get them. You have to get that in your head. They're not going to. You're not going to outlive them. They're not going to outlive you. They're not going to outlive you. So it's a hard thing. It's hard to lose them because they're such little buddies. But anyway, we lost this one. He was young, and we wrote this song. I wanted to write a bluegrass song, and I had a friend that said, you always said about bluegrass music, if it ain't lonesome, it ain't right. So I thought, well, I'll just call the song Lonesome, and we'll start with that. So.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin and Linda Williams.
Thank you. Lonesome, I know what it means to be lonesome. Lonesome, oh, the morning dawns and the world's all wrong. Silence sings a sad swan song, and there are no farewells and no so longs. There's just knowing that you're gone and lonesome. I've known some days that weren't always so lonesome. I've known some days that didn't start with a broken heart. Days I didn't work so hard not to come undone, not to fall apart. Days that weren't so dark and lonesome. But there's no rewind in real time. I can't bring you back. I'm trying to get my mind off this one-way track to lonesome. But there's a train of sorrow hell-bent for lonesome, and lonesome is a rotten town to hang around. There's no worse place I have found if you get broke down in that barren ground. Oh, you'll be forever bound to lonesome. To lonesome.
Robin and Linda Williams. What harmony? Well, speaking of harmonies, did you have anybody that you emulated when you were a little girl that you listened to songs and you said, I want to sing like that woman?
I listened to, growing up, I listened to, like Patti Page and Hank Williams a lot. Was from Alabama, and Dusty Springfield.
Oh, yeah.
I was a big Dusty Springfield fan. And then, of course, the Motown people, and big, Joni Mitchell fan, and
Oh, yeah.
so I don't know, all of that, and I love like Loretta Lynn. There's country people that that I just adore, and what I've mostly tried to do is just learn to sing like me, to just have my voice and not try to, it's kind of hard not to. You can hear influences in it, but I've tried to learn to just sing and
You are
be
you. There's
true
no
and
one who
honest about
sings
it.
like Linda Williams.
Well,
It's just
thank
beautiful.
You. Thank you. You're sweet.
That's good.
You're sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the harmonies, it's just so natural. It's almost like water flowing downhill. The two of you do that together as two-part harmonies. However, you were in the Hopeful Gospel Quartet with Garrison Keillor and with Katie McKenzie, right?
Katie McKenzie, yeah.
And as four-part harmony. So 4 parts. That's twice as hard as 2 parts. I'm kind of guessing.
Well, it is, because what you have to do is get your part and, as we say, grab your part and hold on. And we're not really encumbered by technique, so we have to. There are three notes in a chord, and the bass note can go. Take any of those 3 notes that he wants to. So with Linda and I and Kate would get our 3 notes. We called it the note, the other note, and the other note. And we would
harmony.
We would have our 3-part harmony, and then Garrison could hit his bass part. And then and it was a lesson for us, and we learned a huge amount by doing this, and it really advanced our musical knowledge and our musical skills to be able to hear and sing harmony.
Really, the result was very
it was
beautiful. You've
great.
got another song for us.
Yeah, we do.
so
Speaking of Garrison, we'll just and country music, we will sing this song called Maybell's Guitar and Monroe's Mandolin. We wrote this song after doing a show at the Ryman Auditorium with Garrison. We hung around Nashville for a few days later and went to the Country Music Hall of Fame and saw this one display. And that day they had Bill Monroe's mandolin and Mother Maybell Carter's guitar in the same display, and it was just
glass case.
It was
Breathing
like
the
the
same
angels
air.
were looking down on it. And would think about all the music that came out of those instruments in the hands of those masters, and what it made, the difference that it made to us, not only us, but to the rest of the world. And so we ended up writing a song, and we'll get Linda in tune for this.
Sounds like a banjo. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin and Linda Williams.
Thank you. I saw silver-spangled cowboy hats and gold-plated Cadillacs at the Country Music Hall of Fame. Stuff that once was a Willie's, Hanks and Webbs and Kitties, and all the stars we know by their first name. But the one display that took my breath away, it was Maybell's guitar and Monroe's mandolin, standing there together like they were next of kin. Lord Gibson's from the past, side by side behind the glass, Maybell's guitar and Monroe's mandolin. Well, now Bill found his in a barber shop. He knew from the first chop he could make that F5 ring. And Mrs. Carter's fingers came alive when she played that big L5. Her hand looked like a threshing machine. Bill, fine and true, up in Kalamazoo, it was Maybell's guitar and Monroe's mandolin, standing there together like they were next of kin. Lord Gibson's from the past, side by side behind the glass, Maybell's guitar and Monroe's mandolin. Clinch Mountain Girl and the Bluegrass Boy. Well, they sure made a lot of noise with those old arch tops in their hands. Before the glamour and the glitz, they were making hits way back when the story first began. Before the nudity suits and the flashy cowboy boots, there was Maybelle's guitar and Monroe's mandolin, was standing there together like they were next of kin. Lord Gibson's from the past, side by side behind the glass, Maybelle's guitar and Monroe's mandolin, standing there together like they were next of kin. Lord Gibson's from the past, side by side behind the glass, Maybelle's guitar and Monroe's mandolin.
Robin and Linda Williams.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know, your strong kinship to traditional music abides. You've done a lot by Hank Williams, for example, but you've also done songs by greats like Steve Young and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
What have you learned from the traditional music and doing covers? You write a lot of songs, but you also have covers on most of your albums. What have you learned from those folks and from traditional music?
I mean, this is a good example. I mean, this next song is a good example of what we learned. You know, I mean, how this is, well, it was, people will recognize it as the Wildwood Flower, but it actually had other lyrics when it was first written, and Linda found those lyrics. So it's fitting that we would follow the song about Maybelle guitar with a Carter family song here. Ready?
Oh, I'll twine mid the ringlets of my raven black hair. The rose is so red and the lily so fair, and the myrtle so bright with the emerald hue, and the pale Araneides and ice lips so blue. I'll sing and I'll dance, and my laugh shall be gay. I'll cease this wild weeping, drive sorrow away. Though my heart now is breaking, he never will know. His name made me tremble, and my pale cheeks to glow. I'll think of him never, I'll be wildly gay. I'll charm every heart, and the crowd I will sway. I'll live yet to see him regret the dark hour. He won, then neglected his frail wildwood flower. He told me he loved me and promised to love. Through ill and misfortune, all others above. Another has won him a misery to tell. He left me in in silence, no word of farewell. He taught me to love him and promised to love. And blossom for him all the brighter each hour. But I woke from my dreaming, my idol was clay. My visions of love have all faded away. My visions of love have all faded
That was Robin and Linda Williams. Find them at robinandlinda.com. We have more music, conversation, and tales from America with Robin and Linda coming up in the second half of the show. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Rolling Hills Radio, episode 75. If you would like to be part of our live radio audience, log on to rollinghillsradio.org to purchase tickets. We'll be back after the break with more from Robin and Linda Williams. The second half of our show begins in just a minute. Rolling Hills Radio is funded in part by the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization Re-Grant Program, with support from the New York State Legislature and Governor Andrew Cuomo, and administered by the Cattaraugus County Arts Council. If you would like to be included on the Rolling Hills email distribution list, send your email address to ken@rollinghillsradio.org. You can find past episodes of Rolling Hills Radio and lots more at rollinghillsradio.org. And now, back to Rolling Hills Radio.
Thank you, Julia Cecil Hanley. We have lots more to go here from Jamestown, New York, just a stone's throw from the mighty Chattacoin River. Well, it's a stone's throw if you're like Jim Kelly or Roberto Clemente, but it's right over there. At any rate, Rolling Hills Radio is accessible to the public on community radio, local access cable, college radio stations, and other non-commercial outlets. It's important, maybe more important than ever, that the arts are readily and affordably available, and we are always vigilant for ways to assure that this music reaches its public. That means that this show can be found in places that are other than mainstream. Getting out of the mainstream of mass media means that you will hear things that you may never have imagined. Specialized information, unusual viewpoints, and esoteric facts. For example, I was recently listening to my community radio station the other day, and I discovered that the first man to survive going over Niagara Falls in a barrel later died from slipping on an orange peel. Oh. Which just goes to show, kids, don't try to show off to your friends by stepping on an orange peel. Well, Robin and Linda are about to play another song for us. It's These Old Dark Hills. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin and Linda Williams.
When day is done and the work is through, I seek the old familiar view, those faithful confidants of stone, truer friends I've never known. These old dark hills on which sore eyes can rest, these old dark hills, ridge after ridge to the west. I hear a wind from a distant time, blowing lonesome through the pines from when the ancient wilderness was free of uninvited guests. These old dark hills on which sore eyes can rest. These old dark hills, ridge after ridge to the west. Father of the timber and the coal, mother to the music of my soul, sister to the quiet and serene, brother to the land of broken dreams. Oh, their grace and majesty speak silently to me and hold my gaze lovingly. How I ever long to see these old dark hills on which sore eyes can rest. These old dark hills, ridge after ridge to the west, ridge after ridge to the west.
Thank you.
Robin and
Thank
Linda
you very
Williams.
much.
There's so much that you two excel at. We talked about your harmonies. You're wonderful on your instruments, but your songwriting. Your songwriting is really something you, as we've talked about, you do traditional songs by other folks, but your songwriting, you have been covered by people, for example, Mary Chapin Carpenter,
Yeah.
Molly O'Brien, Kathy Mattea, Emmylou Harris, Tim O'Brien, Tom T. Hall, and Seldom Seen.
Well,
yeah.
that's really great when someone finds one of our songs that touches them, because we really write from a personal point of view, and when there's something that that someone else sees in our songs and sees enough in it to record it, well, it's a real pleasure, and it's a real honor. And,
It has to be. Now, the two of you write songs together.
Yes, we do.
Do you have a formula for that?
Well, we both write independently, of course, and of one another. And then the idea is to try to get something that is get the other one interested in your song, right? There have been times when one or the other of us has just said, "But this is a really good line," but it just doesn't quite work for this song. It's like doesn't fit, and so we keep everything. We keep little snippets,
Sure.
So. And maybe you can use it in another song. That's what we say. Well, we'll use it in another song, and then you don't feel
Then
so
you can
bad.
move on.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll use it
This
sometime.
this next
Don't
song-
worry. It's a great line. We'll use it sometime.
This next song is a classic example. It's a song where we were pounding it to death. I'm talking 30 years ago. We beat this song to death and got nowhere. So we put it away, and literally, I forgot about it. Did you forget about it? I wouldn't have ever remembered. I would have never remembered it had we not stumbled on it.
Yeah.
We stumbled.
I
on it.
remember working on it because I think I was the one that started it and tried to get you interested.
But
30
years later, we
years
find the
later,
song. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
we find the song.
Yeah.
Well, don't keep us on the edge of our seats. Let's hear it. Robin and Linda Williams.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sour apples, they don't fall too far from the tree. And that is what the neighbors all say when they look at me. I know just how a fox feels running from the hounds, 'cause I have spent my whole life living your bad name down, living your bad name down, oh, living your bad name down. The blame, shame, the hard knocks came, living your bad name down. There's nothing I can say around here that anyone believes, 'cause you deal from the bottom of the deck with no good up your sleeve. But cards don't lie and odds don't blink, so your turn's coming around. And when it does, I won't be here, living your bad name down, living your bad name down, oh, living your bad name down. Blame, shame, and hard knocks came, living your bad name down.
Oh, pick it out, Tom.
I'm gonna leave this pit of wagging tongues and shallow, narrow minds and memories of dead-end streets. Gonna leave them all behind. I'm gonna give it one good long last look, then back out of this town and go someplace where I won't be, living your bad name down, living your bad name down, oh, living your bad name down. Blame, shame, and hard knocks came, living your bad name down, living your bad name down, oh, living your bad name down. Blame, shame, the hard knocks came, living your bad name down.
Robin and Linda Williams.
Thank you.
Oh, great stuff.
Thank you very much. Thanks a
Great
lot.
stuff,
Appreciate
great
it.
stuff. Now, very early on in your career,
yeah.
you called Garrison Keillor. Do I have that right? Peter Ostrushko.
Yeah.
The long story short is that we were on the road with Peter Ostrushko, and he told us about Garrison's
Wonderful
radio
fiddle
show.
player.
And Peter, the show had been going about a year, and it was local. It was in Minnesota only, and he told us about it. Peter did. So I called him up, and Garrison said, "Well, I'll have to come see you." He answered his own phones then, you know. I was told to call him in the morning because he had a morning radio show, a drive time radio show. And if you called him when he got off the radio, then he was still by the phone. So I called him, and he answered the phone. He said, "I have to see you." So we got up to a college coffee house about 60 miles away, and he drove over to see us play and said, "Well, what are you doing next week?" And we said, "We're open." He said, "Well, come do the show." So we did. And that was the beginning of it. And we knew from the very beginning that this was something really special. This guy was not your normal entertainer. This guy,
For how many years did he do
Yeah.
that?
he did it for over 40. You know, we have this little joke that we say, I mean, the secret to show business, sincerity. Once you learn to fake that, then you're okay. But we,
Well, speaking of which, I'm sure you've got another song for us. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin and Linda Williams.
Thank you.
so we played on Saturday night in Rochester, New York, which is the home of a great American, Frederick Douglass, who started out his life as a slave on the eastern shore of Maryland, and then fought for independence and the end of slavery, got to see the end of slavery, and ended up in Rochester. But this is a song written from his writings.
the end of another hard day, I look out over the bay for a glimpse at liberty's light in those big broad billows of white. When I see those proud ships sail away, my soul takes flight, and my sad heart is filled with grace, and hope burns bright. There's a better day a-comin', a better day a-comin', led by Father Abraham, where we'll all come a-running, all come a-running, a-running to the promised land. Well, I won't be praying for an early grave when there's no more masters and no more slaves. There's a better day a-comin', a better day a-comin', led by Father Abraham. Will you shrouded ghosts at sea, so free to plow the deep, while I'm kept and confined in a life that isn't mine? Well, you move wherever you must be in the Maker's unfolding design. So one day may He deliver me from the whip and bands of iron. There's a better day a-comin', a better day a-comin', led by Father Abraham, where we'll all come a-running, all come a-running, running to the promised land. Well, I won't be praying for an early grave when there's no more masters and no more slaves. There's a better day a-comin', a better day a-comin', led by Father Abraham. If I could soar through the sky, to your safe mast I would fly. From these captive shores take wing to hear the winds of freedom sing. Well, I would never no more question why ships so smoothly sail, or birds effortlessly glide on a strong, steady gale. There's a better day a-comin', a better day a-comin', led by Father Abraham, where we'll all come running, all come running, run to the promised land. Well, I won't be praying for an early grave when there's no more masters and no more slaves. There's a better day a-comin', a better day a-comin', led by Father Abraham. There's a better day a-comin', a better day a-comin', led by Father Abraham. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Robin and Linda Williams, a better day coming. What energy, being up on stage with you guys, I can just feel the positive energy from you, and you've been doing this for such a long time now. I saw an interview recently with John Prine a little while back, and somebody said, what happens about the writing song stuff? Are you going to continue writing songs? He said, once in a while, I think about writing a song, and then I go out for a hot dog, and it goes away. But after that, he came up with another great album.
Yeah, he did.
it's a
He
great
did.
album.
He really, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. What about that? You've been doing it for a long time. Do you have to work to keep your energy up? How does that go?
Energy, do you mean like physical energy to stay out on the road? I mean, that takes it's a little harder than it used to be. You have to really pace yourself on the road now. We do. We have to pace ourselves.
Okay.
And our time alone is even more valuable than it used to be. In terms of the energy of the creative energy, that you don't live by inspiration as much as you get older. You have to really if you get this idea that John Prine has, you can't afford to go out and get that hot dog. You have to sit down and work at it, and that's what. And for us, that means time at home. You need to have time at home, and then time away from distractions at home, which is not easy. So you really have to be disciplined about it. And that's I've had conversations over the years with other people, creative people, about not letting life intrude, in your work.
Tom Paxton on this stage said the way to write songs is you sit down, you put pen to paper.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
Just keep doing that.
No better, better teacher than Tom Paxton.
Yeah, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Can you play another song for us?
Yeah, we can.
We would love that. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin and Linda Williams.
Well, another song we sing, another little rule we have is that you have to sing a song a lot before the song is finished, and then you'll go back to the song 30 years later, and you realize that it's still not finished. So that's when it's really nice when your wife steps in and says, I can help you finish this song and make it what it should be all the way around. And that's what happened with this one. I wrote this song when we first met, and we recorded it and sang it every night for a few years, and then it sat on the shelf for about another 35, and then our record company president said, well, you should think about doing that song again. And then Linda said, no, I need to work on it with you. So
That song's just not there, I said.
so we did it. We got it back up and
I got the
running,
co-write,
and then
so I'm going to get a lot of money off of that, right? Cha-ching, mailbox money.
So it's we'll do this song and then put an old Appalachian tune to it as well.
It's set in North Carolina, so we'll do a Tommy Gerald song. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Henry Brown was a rover, a fiddling free man, my friend. He wandered far as Knoxville town and back o'er the mountains again. Oh, how he charmed those good time gals, fiddling his old time songs. The boy who seemed to have no dream but to just keep moving on. Now Jane Saru was a lady, a firm stature and fair. Her eyes could blaze or twinkle, and flowing was her hair. Jane Saru was courted by many a handsome man, but none possessed or could be blessed with fair Jane Saru's hand. Asheville town just to raise a glass or two, when his eyes were stamped by the beauty of the fair maid Jane Saru. And the fiddler played a death song to his rakish thoughts and schemes, and Jane Saru swore to be true to this rounder with no dreams. Mystery of love can be so hard to realize. His years were only 24, but Henry Brown was wise, and he laid aside his roving, never to renew, and joined the angels in their praise of the flower Jane Saru. Oh, the river runs from the mountains, it runs on down to the sea, and the robin sings a new love song from high in a sycamore tree. And the song he sings is of wonder and a love forever true. His song is for young Henry Brown and his sweetheart Jane Saru. This song is for young Henry Brown
his sweetheart, Jane Sonru.
Linda Williams on the banjo.
Thank you.
Robin and Linda Williams.
Tommy Jarrell song. Tune.
Okay, and right now we're going to do one of the most beloved of all the songs that Robin and Linda wrote about the Babe Ruth of country music, Hank Williams. This was covered by Emmylou Harris. We're going to do a version of it
That was
right
a
now.
big. That was a big phone call that day when Emmylou's people called us because we don't have people. And, so, yeah.
I love singing this song. I'm glad you wanted to do it. You sound good on it. It was a fun song to write, and it's always still a fun song to sing. Even though it is about the death of Hank Williams. But
It's very poignant.
Just a second, I'll be right with you, folks.
as it was, are you ready? A 1, a 2, a 3. Folks in Nashville slammed the door. Said, we don't want you anymore. Find your own way down the road. Pack your fiddle and your guitar. Take a train or take a car. Find someone else to keep you from the cold. Rolling and rambling, the women loved him half to death. He sang with whiskey on his breath. His heart broke like a child's. Rolling and rambling, the sun had set out on the trail. The hobos drifted up the rail. He's taking his last ride. Oh, he always sang the blues like it was all he ever knew. He didn't sing at all that night. He was pale and as he dozed, he didn't know his time had closed. Slumped in the backseat to the right. Rolling and rambling, the women loved him half to death. He sang with the whiskey on his breath. His heart broke like a child's. Rolling and rambling, the sun had set out on the trail. The hobos drifted up the rail. He's taking his last ride. So they sent him on a night train south, through the cities and the rural routes. Just one more place to go. Oh, the whistle sang the bluest note, just like it came from his own throat. Moaning sad and crying low. Rolling and rambling, the women loved him half to death. He sang with the whiskey on his breath. His heart broke like
like a child's, rolling and rambling. The sun set out on the trail. The hobo's drifted up the rail. He's taken his last ride. Rolling and rambling. The sun is set out on the trail. The hobo's drifted up the rail. He's taken his last ride.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Well, Oscar Wilde said, music makes one feel so romantic. At least it always gets on one's nerves, which is the same thing nowadays. We talk a lot about Americana music reflecting American core values, for sure. American seems to be getting on some people's nerves nowadays, but that doesn't matter on a local level at home, does it? As has always been the case, we are more than our national politics. You can hear it in this music, music that reflects and describes affection, fondness, wistful reflection, and intimacy and an open heart, not only with the family and friends, but with this great land. So when you listen to true American artists, so beautifully exemplified by Robin and Linda, you feel the peace like a quiet Sunday afternoon on a porch swing, where everything that matters is right there. I'm Ken Hardley. We'll see you next time on Rolling Hills Radio.
You've been listening to Rolling Hills Radio, episode 75. Special thanks to Robin and Linda Williams. The Rolling Hills Radio cast and crew are Technical Director Ed E.T. Tomasini, Audio Steve Chapel of Love, Man of 1,000 Fedoras Diamond Dick Gould, Bottled Water Labeler Nicole Chappell, Cash Credit and Debit Susan George and Jim Goodling, Here, There and Everywhere Nancy McGuire, Brianne Fidel and Tom Fidel, Photographer Lori I'll Sell You the Negatives Savory, and Taser Operator Kathy Harley. I'm Julia Cecil Hanley, the voice that brings peace to the world. We'll see you next time on Rolling Hills Radio.